Welcome to Phil and Dave's Excellent Adventures. Just Dave here. Today we are talking about the movie The Black Phone. This is going to be a spoiler review, so if you aren't concerned about spoilers, I would suggest you go ahead and watch the movie first before you watch this review. The Black Phone is a horror movie based on a novel by Joe Hill, a short story by Joe Hill, rather. And yeah, it's about set in the 70s. It's about a character named the Grabber who abducts young children. A young boy is abducted and tries to escape with the help of other boys who were abducted and killed by him, who are able to communicate with him through a telephone. So, as far as what I liked about the movie, overall, I thought the cast was really good. I'm a big Ethan Hawke fan, and he was really great in this movie. His performance was very creepy and weird. He doesn't show his face much, and I kind of thought that was interesting, and I like that. Mason Thames, I don't know how to say it. The little kid, the main kid, pretty good performance, especially for a kid. It's very tough. Jeremy Davies, I'm always a fan of Jeremy Davies. He's maybe a little over the top in this, but overall, I enjoyed his performance. And Miguel Cazares Mora as Robin, I liked his performance as well. I really liked I don't know if I really liked. I liked the inclusion of the dad character. Because again, it's a little broad, it's a little over the top. Hey, he's an alcoholic dad who's abusive to his kids. But I think that it sort of served a purpose to the story, in which that I think part of the reason that the child was able to survive being abducted was because he was grown up and used to being in an environment where he had to be careful and he had to listen and he had to be quiet. So yeah, that kind of worked as far as for the story goes. Music, we got some good music in here. It's set in the 70s, which is one of my favorite eras for music. We've got Free Ride and Fox on the Run, play in the movie, which is funny because they were both songs that were used in Dazed and Confused, another movie set in the 70s. So yeah, I really liked the songs in this, at least a couple that I heard. And overall, I really like the design of the mask. The mask was actually made by Tom Savini, who was a very famous makeup artist who worked on all sorts of stuff. Walking Dead. No, I'm sorry, he didn't work on Walking Dead. He worked on Night of the Living Dead, the remake, and some of the later movies in that series, and a lot of zombie stuff. He's pretty well known for that kind of stuff. He directed the Night of the Living Dead remake that came out in the early 90s, I think it was. But yeah, as far as what I didn't like about the movie, the first act is a little too slow. They take a little bit too much time sort of introducing the characters and sort of showing the kids who get abducted, and then the kid being abused or sort of teased, bullied by the other kids and everything. Takes a little too long. I'm sitting there kind of waiting, like, okay, abduct the kid, man. Let's get to the point here. And then, oddly enough, once they do sort of abduct the kid, I also thought it was a little boring. I think they could have. I don't know what it was about it. It's just he's kind of just sitting in a room, not doing much. The sister is played by an actress named Madeleine McGraw. She's a young girl. She's probably, I don't know, 12 or something. But so I don't want to make fun of her performance too much. But I think in this case they were asking a lot of her. She's got a very difficult sort of character to play and these difficult emotions to convey. And I think anyone would struggle with that. An adult actor would have a hard time with that. And so yeah, as a child, yeah, her performance isn't great. It also seems like it's a fun character, but it seems like a character that was written by men in their 40s and not, an actual 10-year-old, 12-year-old, however old she is. When the Grabber abducts the kid stabs him with this rocket ship light or pen. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but he's got this rocket ship thing. The Grabber gets fairly upset about that, but doesn't take the rocket ship away from him. He just lets him keep it. Okay, that doesn't make any sense, but fine. And there's a lot of stuff like that just doesn't make sense. There's a part where the kid is told by one of the ghost kids over the phone to smash through the wall with the toilet tank lid, so they can get through to the other side and escape out the this walk-in cooler thing or freezer that they have. Okay, but then later, like they're like, oh, fill the phone receiver with dirt, and then hit the Grabber when he comes in to get you. And it's like, why don't you just hit him with the toilet tank lid? That's much heavier and bigger, and you wouldn't have to fill it with dirt. I mean, I guess part of it is like the Grabber won't suspect that the phone's been detached. Also, he cuts the cord on the phone instead of just unplugging it. I don't get that either, unless maybe I'm stupid and phones weren't you couldn't unplug the cord in the 70s, but I'm fairly sure you could. I had phones that were made in the 70s. Whatever. The sort of supernatural stuff in this movie, I didn't love. I have nothing against supernatural stuff. I generally, I don't believe in ghosts or any of that kind of stuff, so it doesn't really work for me on any kind of a visceral level. But supernatural elements, I think the main issue I had, they just weren't very well explained. Like, what's the deal with this phone? Why can these dead kids use this phone? Why does the grabber hear it but not know about it? Like, it's almost explained, but it's not quite. And I guess it doesn't have to be explained, but I don't know. I guess I would just like a little bit more explanation on what's going on there and what the rules are of the phone. And then there is sort of this religious aspect of it that, this is me personally, but anytime anyone brings up religion, it just really turns me off. I'm to the point now where I'm just so sick of these idiots, trying to run other people's lives and force their religion into stuff. It just really upsets me and leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I noticed that with Scott Derrickson, director, also did Deliver Us from Evil. And that was one of my main problems with that is I despise religion, and I have a really hard time caring about anyone who is religious or any religious characters. And hey, that's me. Maybe I should be more accepting, but I don't know. These idiots are trying to take away women's rights and voting rights and everything else. Like, I'm done dealing with that. There's a plot where the grabber has the kids in one house, but like he kills them in one house, but then he also owns the house across the street, which is where he buries them. Why? Also, why does he own two houses? How can he afford two houses? He's like a part-time magician or something, right? So like, where's the money coming from? Why does he have two houses? Does no one else think it's weird that this guy has two houses that are directly across the street from each other? I don't know. So at some point, the police show up to this guy's house, and there's this kind of spastic kind of dude there who's talking about how he's staying in his brother's house, and he's got some ideas on how to help the police, and the police kind of dismiss him because he seems crazy, and they notice like cocaine on the table, and they're like, oh. And the guy's like, oh man, I shouldn't have left that cocaine there. The problem is that guy, his performance was a little over the top. I mean, he's supposed to be on coke, so I guess you're gonna act funny. But yeah, I didn't love him. Honestly, I'm watching it going, this has got to be the writer or something, or a friend of the writer, because he had a very much. There's something about when I see like a writer or a director in a small role in a movie, I can just go, that's the writer right there, because no one else would have cast this guy. No, it's not. He's an actual actor, so I'm sorry, dude. Your performance wasn't that bad. I'm sure you're watching, right? But yeah, that's James Ransone is his name. He was also in Sinister, which was directed by Scott Derrickson, and also had Ethan Hawke in it. So yeah, this is his brother, the grabber's brother, who was living with him. And he's trying to help him find the kids, but he somehow doesn't realize that the kid is in the basement. And he does eventually realize the kid is in the basement at the very end. And then the grabber kills him. What was the point of that? Why was that character in there? He didn't further the plot. He didn't do anything. I didn't get the point of that character at all. The mask, like I said, looks cool. I like it. I appreciate the fact that Ethan Hawke doesn't show his face very much in the movie at all, but they do this thing with the mask where, he'll change out the bottom part, like it's two separate pieces. So he'll change out the bottom part of the mask depending on like his mood. So like if he's angry or upset, it'll be like a frowny mouth or whatever. And if he's happy, it'll be that one. So there's a part where he goes down to see the kid, and I think he asked the kid his name, and the kid lies. And then he shows him that he's got a newspaper with the kid's name in it, and reveals that he knows the kid is lying. And he's got this upset looking mask on because the kid's lying. My question is, how did he know the kid was going to lie? And if the kid did tell him the truth, then would he have had to stop and like switch the mask out and put the smiley mask on and be like, oh, hey, good job? Or like, and so does the mask reflect his personality? And also they don't really explain what's going on with the grabber, like why he is like this. I mean, I guess maybe you don't need to, but it would have been nice to explain a little bit more about why he's abducting these kids, what he's doing with them, other than testing them and I don't know. It could have been handled better, I think. There's not enough music in the movie. Like I said, I love 70s music. It's one of my favorite eras for rock and roll. At least I hate disco, but rock. Actually, I don't even mind disco so much anymore. But there's, I think, literally 3 songs in the entire movie. I might be wrong. There's a couple at the beginning, and there's one over the credits. Maybe another one. I didn't stay to watch the credits, but yeah, if you're going to set a movie in the 70s, get a lot of 70s songs, man. They can't be that expensive, right? Even if they are, get cheap 70s songs. I mean, you can find some, You Light Up My Life or whatever type stuff. Debbie Boone. Is that, I think it's it. So yeah, I don't know. Why didn't they have more music? It'd be cool to get more of that in there, more of that 70s feel. I will say, other than that, though, the 70s look is pretty good, I think. I like the clothes. The kids have the right kind of haircuts and everything. It looks pretty good. Sometimes you watch a period thing and you're like, this is clearly supposed to be set in this era, but no, I think they did a pretty good job with that. Yeah, I didn't really love the ending. I realized, as I was saying it, they don't resolve the fact that the kid's dad is abusive at all. He's still stuck with his abusive drunk dad. And then he just kind of goes to school and like sits next to the girl he likes and, oh, he's happy now. And it's like, no, he's not. First of all, he still has a drunk, abusive dad. Second of all, he's got this sister who like has dreams. I didn't even talk about this at all, but he's got this sister who has dreams, and she kind of helps find him, although she kind of really doesn't. I mean, she does, but he would have been able to save himself anyway, I think. So she got the cops there when he came out of the house. I don't know. Yeah, and again, they don't really explain that much other than, oh, her mom did it too, and now she can do it. No. It's in a lot of ways that reminded me of like Stephen King, kind of thing that he does sometimes. So yeah, I didn't like the ending very much. I didn't like the subplot with the girl and the dreams, and I didn't like the fact that the abusive father is never resolved. That's just that's how it goes, kid. Sorry, them's the breaks. So yeah, other than that, it's directed by Scott Derrickson, who of course did the first Doctor Strange movie, but not the second one. Sinister, with Ethan Hawke and Max Ransone. Deliver Us from Evil, which I said I did not like that movie very much. And then I was surprised. I didn't realize he did the Day That Earth Stood Still remake, the one with Keanu Reeves as Klaatu, which I just didn't know that. It's interesting. Cool. Like I said, it's based on a short story by Joe Hill. Joe Hill is Stephen King's son. So not surprising that some of it reminds me of him a little bit. I've actually read a fair amount of Joe Hill stuff, Lock and Key, the comic series, which I really liked, and a book of his, Heart-Shaped Box, which I thought was pretty good too. So I think maybe I expected more from this because I know Joe Hill and I'm familiar with his writing, and I think it's kind of good. It's pretty good. I like it. But yeah, it's fine. It was written by Derrickson, I believe, and a guy named C. Robert Cargill, who just works with Derrickson a lot. He's pretty much, I think, in almost every movie he's done, he's worked on the script or the story in some way. So, all right, they work together a lot. They should know what they're doing. It was directed, or is it produced by Blumhouse, which Jason Blum, his company. They make a lot of these kind of low budget horror movies, and they usually make pretty decent money. I may have talked about this before, but they kind of reminded me of like the old Hammer films back in the 70s, who used to make all the Dracula movies and all that kind of stuff. They just kind of crank out these very cheap, kind of movies, but they were cheap enough that they can make their money back. And so, yeah, this movie's it's listed as a $16 to $18 million budget. I don't know what the range is there, but, and I believe it's pretty much going to make that back in its first weekend. Of course, movies have to make more than their, budget to make money, but it looks like it's going to do fine. It's going to make some money. And they have talked about a sequel. Apparently, Derrickson said that Joe Hill told him he has an idea for a sequel if it's successful, and it looks like it will be. So I guess we'll be getting more Black Phone movies, maybe. I don't know. So as far as my rating, I'm going to give this movie a 6 out of 10. I think it's hard to judge because there's some parts that I really like. There's some parts that I really didn't like. I just think overall it's fine. There's some interesting aspects to it. I don't want to say that it's forgettable by any means, but it could have been better, I think. So yeah, 6 out of 10. That's going to be my score for this one. So if you saw the movie, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great night, and I will see you here again next week.